Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly Nintendo News Roundup Live, where every Friday night at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, the All Crew breaks down the week in Nintendo news. Good to see everybody who's hanging out with us live here on youtube.com/allinpodcast. Appreciate you. If
Good
you're
to see all
watching
of you
this,
guys. Good to see you, Seth.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Eric. Happy to be here. Got some exciting stuff to talk about this week. Of course, we took the week off last week. Blessedly so. There was like nothing to talk about last week anyway.
Like there actually wasn't. Like they announced that new Kong game, and that was
even
like
that
kind of about it.
Yeah, can't make a meal out of crumbs, Eric. You know.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Eric, we need to welcome on in or thank or make a meal. I don't know. I was trying to do something there, but we need to thank our patrons, Eric, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, we do need to thank our patrons, the ones who supply All In with the meal of I don't have a good metaphor either, so
let's give it up.
Patrons!
Give it up. Thank you, patrons. Big thanks to our patrons at patreon.com/allinpodcast. A ton of friends and supporters throwing a few bones our way for our hard work. We appreciate y'all, especially our Golden Banana tier supporters: Rob Yapel, third strongest of all, Sean O'Baggins, Ashton, Tim A, aka NeoPrime33, aka Nintendo Dad number 4, Matt, Shy Guy City, Murray, Phelan Ward, Bill Tucker, Marcus O'Neill, Liam D, Bowza, Gamer Jason, Andrew Wilkins, and Foolish Fuji. Thank you very much to our Golden Banana tier supporters. We're moving into our Triforce tier. We need to thank Josh Vaughn, the godfather of Tingle Love Tuesday, John Datfast Cummins of the Retro Logic podcast, as well as On Topic Retro, the Globetrotting Jet Setting Nintendo Hub and Sparky of the Nintendo Hub right here on YouTube, Adam Caparello of the Retro Groove podcast, as well as Octorock 1982 here on YouTube, Shy Guy, the other half of our Shy Guy mod squad. Thank you, Shy Guy. Daniel Hinojosa, Dan and Luma, Solo Something, and the legend himself.
The 5-course meal of awesomeness, Uncle Randy.
Make a meal out of Uncle Randy, man. Uncle Randy, thank you very much for your continued love and support, everybody. You're the best. You're simply the best, better than all the rest. At patreon.com/allinpodcast. 7-day free trial to the Golden Banana tier over there, Eric.
I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head the rest of my day.
That's right. I apologize for nothing. Check out
True story.
Entirely for free, 7 days, Golden Banana tier. You can get access to our exclusive 2 weekly exclusive podcasts over there for patrons every single week and a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Check out that 7-day free trial. We had somebody do that and they actually become a patron. So, you know, I'm not going to speak for them, but I would like to think they would recommend it.
She said that she's loving the exclusive content. She jumped in. Don't take our word for it. Check it out for yourself, my friends. Appreciate all of y'all. Also, quick shout out, as long as we're shouting people out. Sean Capri, from Carpool Gaming, of course, good friend. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Sean. Yeah. I was just hanging out with him over on twitch.tv/Carpool Gaming Live, celebrating his birthday, and just want to give him a little shout out here on the news roundup. Love you, buddy. Hope you're having a good day. He's having there's a brand of cake in Canada that I've learned today, Eric, and it's called Deep and Delicious.
Deep and Delicious?
That is it's a very popular brand name.
Are we sure we're talking about cake?
Yeah, that was my reaction. But it is a cake in Canada that is apparently very well known, very popular in Canada. And I think Sean's celebrating with a little Deep and Delicious this evening for his birthday. So
I'm also going to give a shout out really quick to all the people of Orlando, Florida. I had a ton of fun last weekend, of course, at the Nintendo Summer of Play. When I went down there last weekend, I took my cousin, and we had a whole bunch of fun. We posted the pictures. I did a quick video, and it was a blast. It was a blast. They had a ton of stuff set up. They had Tears of the Kingdom. They even had Pikmin 4.
I was going to ask if Pikmin 4 was there. Yeah,
they had Pikmin 4. Yeah, and they had like a whole thing set up. They had multiple, like pictures there, and they had a whole standee with the Octolings from Splatoon 3 that you could take pictures with. They had a little campfire with Isabelle and Tom Nook, and an Animal Crossing team. You could take pictures there. And they had Mario Party Superstar set up. They had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe set up. They had a ton of stuff out. It was so much fun. It was a lot of fun to go out and share the Nintendo love with her. I think I may have convinced her, my cousin, to get a Nintendo Switch. So,
oh, nice.
So job done.
Influencer.
Job done. Exactly. Yes.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm glad you got to do that. It's a Nintendo Summer of Play event, I believe.
Yes, the Nintendo Summer of Play currently winding its way across America up to Seattle for the eventual Nintendo Live event coming this September.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, man. Well, Eric, there is no shortage of news to talk about this week. We're making up for it this week. We got some pretty big stories.
Yeah, we do.
So what do you say we get into
Aliens?
Aliens. That's what we're talking about tonight, folks. Strap in.
Aliens.
Yeah, aliens.
No, actually, are we going to? I don't think any of ours have aliens. I don't know. I can't remember. We do have a couple Splat-themed stories to get into, though. So let's talk about it.
Hey, listen!
That was Navi. Navi said the thing. Let's talk about some news, my friend.
Thing. Yeah, let's talk about the news. So, do you want to do Ink Splat, Blood Splat, or Nickelodeon Splat?
I was going to say Slime Splat, baby. That's definitely the
Slime
biggest news
Splat.
story
Yes,
this week.
yes,
Yeah.
I dig it. So, in somewhat of a surprise, Nickelodeon and Game Mill Entertainment announced a follow-up to one of last year's kind of surprise hits, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It's getting a full-on sequel, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, go figure, sometime later on this year, with a wonderful trailer that really showed off just how improved and how enhanced this new edition of the game is going to be just a year on from the release of the first game. I definitely recommend checking out that trailer. In addition to that, a couple of the developers did a very, very eye-opening interview with Polygon this past week as well, dropping a ton of new information that already has me incredibly excited about this game. It's a game that both Seth and I were incredibly impressed with, at the very least, the work ethic of everyone involved. It's been very clear that these guys have been working their tails off, that this is absolutely a passion project, has been from day one. It may not be like on Smash Brothers, but the people involved, like, it's very clear that they are putting all of their blood, sweat, and tears into this project. With everything they did prior to the game coming out, it's clear that they've been listening to everything the gamers have been saying. They added in even VO after launch, because that was a big thing that people talked about, items and more characters and everything like this. And we wound up getting a really cool, satisfying package from the first game. And now here, again, just a year later, we're getting what looks to be like a generational leap already with the sequel, just from the trailer and just from the interview. And I can't believe I'm saying this about a Nickelodeon game, but I could not be more excited for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Seth.
I'm really excited too. The first game was weird because, like, leading up to the release of the first game, I just had a bad feeling about it. Like the lack of VO, the seeming lack of like budget behind it and everything. But like what it did lack in budget and polish or whatever, it made up for totally in heart. Like, you could just completely tell that the people involved in making this game really truly cared about it. And yeah, I mean, like, the way that game transformed over the course of its life, I mean, yeah, adding in voice acting is not a small feat. You know, that's a huge update. And then, yeah, completely changing the way the game plays with items and, you know, of course, DLC characters as well. You know, just that first game alone had a transformative experience in the amount of time that we had it. And so it really impressed me. Like, just the 180 that game took, and just like the proof was in the pudding. They believed in it and they stuck with it. And good on them, man. I just completely respected, the ethic and the heart behind that game. And so when this was announced, And you come to realize that like they're, I mean, yeah, it's a huge leap. It is completely changed from a gameplay perspective, from an engine perspective. It's adding in characters that fans have wanted since the first one. And yeah, man, like for nothing else, like to me, it almost doesn't even matter like how good the game is. And I think it's going to be quite good. But like, to me, I'm like, I just want to support these people. Like they clearly love this, you know, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see.
It's still somehow using the same engine, some version of Unity, but like even the developer said, is like we've altered so much of the game, like we might as well have changed the engine.
Yeah.
Some of a few of the big takeaways from the Polygon interview, I also want to point out, like they did side by side comparisons. One of the great things about the trailer itself was they started with the first game. They started with the first game, the visuals, the movement, and everything, and they transitioned to the second game just for that specific side-by-side comparison. They used it not only to announce a new character in the best way. The way they announced Squidward was amazing. It is so clear that this team just gets the memes. They get the jokes. They get the personality. They get
Totally.
the fun that's inherent to all these characters, and the way they announced Squidward. And Squidward kind of transitioned the game from 1 to 2. But seeing, yeah, just how like the stages are coming back, but they're transformed. They are completely different from, at least visually and at least aesthetically, from the first game counterparts. And the developers in that interview with Polygon, these are a couple direct quotes from that Polygon interview. Quote, "We've completely redone how movement works." And you can see a little bit of this in the trailer. "We've completely redone how movement works by changing to analog inputs compared to digital inputs from the first game, meaning things feel smoother and more responsive when moving around, which opens up a whole new world in terms of gameplay. We've also added more options like horizontal attacks, defensive rolls, and dodges. We've added a meter mechanic." They're putting meter into All-Star Brawl 2. Quote, "This introduces a more in-depth system to the game in general. Using this meter, you can modify attacks, do ultimates." That's a quote. "Do ultimates, boost damage, slime cancel," something called slime canceling, and more stuff. And finally, I want to point out this quote. "Something that stands out compared to the first game is the character design. In All-Star Brawl 2, we put a lot of effort into making each character feel unique so we can cater to different types of gameplay." So there's like the meter alone. Just if I had heard nothing else, if I had just seen the word meter from that interview, like that alone is going to be a massive change to the game. A massive change to the game. But talking about doing ultimates, increasing damage, that to me sounds like EX moves, similar to what you'd see in a lot of modern fighting games. Stuff like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. You can do that in Mortal Kombat games. You can do it in, again, most modern fighters. For anybody who doesn't know, EX moves are essentially not necessarily like super special attacks, but using a small portion of your meter to enhance one of your special attacks to a, more damaging or added effect version, an enhanced version of that attack, essentially. So it looks like they may be adding in EX special moves to All-Star Brawl 2, which alone would be cool. We saw some of these enhanced movement capabilities in the trailer. It already looks so much smoother. It already looks so much better. I really like the first one, especially what the game became. And to think about how much they're updating and enhancing everything and how much they've, again, clearly been listening to the fans. This game really has a chance to be something special.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Coming into it. And it looks like the vast majority of the roster from the first game is returning. The ones that I think the only ones that we don't know about returning from the original are Shredder, Powdered Toast Man, Oblina, CatDog, and Hugh Neutron. I think other than that, according to Reddit, all of the other ones appear in some way in this trailer and like what we've seen confirmed. In addition to, of course, the new characters.
Yeah, I want to say CatDog's stage was in the trailer.
Yeah,
so
that sounds right. I'm sure they're coming back. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, in that same Polygon interview, they weren't specific on all of the characters returning from the first one. They did mention they were very cagey, of course, and they were very, playing their cards close to their vest when it came to the new characters they were going to add. And they have already confirmed a season pass post launch. But the only official characters that have been the only official new characters that have been confirmed are Squidward and, of course, Jimmy Neutron, who I thought was very conspicuous by his absence from the first game. That makes me super happy. Can't wait to see what his ultimate is. And also on the official key art, we do see a character who is, at least in the art, kind of positioned like a primary antagonist, and that is, what was it? It's Danny Phantom's primary antagonist. Yeah, like Vlad. Dark Ghost or Vlad. Thank you, Vlad from Danny Phantom.
Vlad Plasmius. Yeah.
So I just, again, super excited. They've also talked about a roguelike single player campaign mode.
Sounds
I don't
interesting.
know how. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. My initial thought when I hear something like that is something akin to Kirby Fighters 2, which had a tower mode where you would just constantly go up the tower and fighting against CPUs, but you were constantly enhancing. You were getting items that would enhance your capabilities, or you could get items that you could use. You could power up the different items in the game and their usage. So, I mean, I want to believe that a roguelike single player mode is something more than just the roguelike elements being the characters you face off, a la a standard arcade mode.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm very intrigued by that because it sounds interesting, and it sounds like it's going to have the kind of thing where, like in most roguelikes, you're going to, make your way through it. You could get to a certain point, get unlocks or whatever. Like it's that sort of thing with random elements, of course. And it sounds cool, man. Like I like the notion. This is checking all the right boxes.
Yeah.
For me, based on the stuff that I would have liked to see, because in the first game you just kind of had a very basic arcade mode.
It was admittedly fairly basic. You could choose your path, you could choose the characters you went up against, but beyond a relatively standard arcade mode, there wasn't a lot of single player content there. And if I am going to attempt to speculate on anything, when they were talking about, specifically in the trailer, when they were talking about the new campaign mode, they showed Patrick and SpongeBob getting sucked into what really looked like a cosmic shake portal.
Right.
So if we want to take that, the cosmic shake, as a direction they're potentially taking with this,
possibly,
maybe we're going into some type of multiversal thing where maybe we'll get Caveman Korra, maybe we'll get future Invader Zim or something. Maybe that could be what they're talking about when they brought up more costumes, because they specifically mentioned more costumes for the characters as well. But again, regardless, this is a game and a dev team that it's incredibly clear they have been working their tails off on this, and I give them all the respect in the world, and I am going to wholeheartedly support this game. I recommend checking it out, especially if you are a fan of platform fighters like Smash Brothers. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 looks like it's going to be so cool.
Yeah, they're also, in addition to Squidward and Jimmy Neutron, Donnie and Wrath are in the game too now. So we finally have the full
the full
Ninja Turtles.
That was another thing is, like, has there ever been a game released before the first Nick All-Star Brawl that had at least one turtle available to play as, when they didn't just have all of them available to play? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when they showed up in Injustice 2, they showed up as a single character slot, but you could still basically play as any one of them.
Yeah, I sort of got the sense that, I mean, I don't know what the development was like behind the scenes, but the sense that I got was that they probably wanted to at a certain point, but they wanted to prioritize other DLC characters or whatever. Because the DLC characters they ended up adding in were really great. So Yeah, I don't know. And at the same time, too, you have to imagine they've been working on this one for quite some time. So
Yeah.
at a certain point, it's like, what, let's prioritize these DLC characters and just make sure in the sequel we've got all 4 of them,
Yeah.
So
I also
it'd be
do
great.
understand because like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like is so perfect for a game like this. You really run the risk of this game just turning into TMNT All-Star Battle and their Nickelodeon friends.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so it's really cool, man. I can't wait. It's coming this fall. We don't have a confirmed release date. There's been some leaks floating around out there that I've seen.
Yes.
So if you don't want to get spoiled on some stuff, maybe stay away from that. The release date has also been kind of leaked, but it's coming this fall. Officially, that's the word, and we're going to be hearing more about it at Evo as well. So
yes, incredibly excited next week for Evo. And when they announced it a couple days ago, I was like, so weird that they would announce a fighting game the week before Evo. But sure enough, they've already confirmed that there's going to be a huge gameplay showcase next week at the Fighting Tournament Spectacular. I'm super looking forward to that. And just as a quick aside, since we're talking about Evo for just a moment, there is going to be an open beta for the PlayStation 4 version of King of Fighters 13 Global Match this weekend, a game that is also slated to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. So this should be the final kind of precursor to the release of that, the release date of which we still haven't been told yet. So now that the final beta is this week, there is potential for us finally finding out when KOF 13 Global Match is eventually going to be given to us on the Nintendo Switch. We may even be getting that news next week at Evo as well. Fingers crossed.
Nice. Well, Eric, I'm sure I'm gonna have to twist your arm to talk a little bit more about fighting games for a second.
Okay. Moving over to Bloodsplat now.
Yeah, I have it in our notes lovingly as Eric's Mortal Kombat 1 segment. So
yeah, so last week, basically as we would have gone live with the news and it would have given us something to talk about, but last week during the San Diego Comic-Con, we of course got a massive information dump on the forthcoming Mortal Kombat 1 with another brand new trailer. Matter of fact, 2 trailers specifically for Mortal Kombat 1, the first of which showed off several brand new returning characters, including Li Mei from Deadly Alliance Deception and Armageddon from the 3D era, and kind of a cult favorite character, Tanya, who made her first appearance in Mortal Kombat 4, then of course returned for Deception and became a DLC character in MKX. Both Li Mei and Tanya were shown off to pretty striking degree in this new trailer. They showed off the Umgadi, who, for all intents and purposes, if you've seen Black Panther, are effectively the Dora Milaje for Melina as the Queen of Outworld. But Ed Boon specifically teased like 3D era stuff going into the comic convention, and sure enough, we got Li Mei, we got Tanya, and we even got confirmation of another brand new cameo character, Darius. This is like, for me personally, this is the biggest head scratcher I've seen since they started showing stuff, because Darius is like the definition of a one and done character. It blows my mind.
No clue.
Exactly. Yeah. He showed up in Deception. He was also in Armageddon because everybody was in Armageddon, but we have seen hide nor hair of Darius since then. And he was frankly kind of a bland character anyway, just incredibly weird that of all the characters they could have chosen, they're bringing back Darius as a cameo, but he also contributes to that 3D era that Ed Boon was teasing. But overall, another incredibly fun, incredibly blood-soaked trailer. We're finally getting kind of the full picture of MK1. In addition to that, there was an additional trailer shown behind closed doors, which has since been leaked to heck and back, so much so that Ed Boon's already confirmed the legitimacy and is now openly talking about the characters that are in there. We also got to see Reiko from also introduced in Mortal Kombat 4. who has been confirmed as a playable character, and who some speculated that Ed Boon was actually the facial model for. If you look at it, it's actually pretty uncanny. But we now know that General Reiko is going to be a playable character, and Motaro is going to be a cameo character. The famous Centaur mid-boss from MK3, Motaro, is going to be a cameo character. So, yeah, ton of news. And if that wasn't enough, Seth, the leaks were true.
Oh, the season pass.
We got official confirmation of the first combat pack for MK1 with Ermac, Takeda Takahashi, Quan Chi, and guest characters Omni-Man from Invincible, Homelander from The Boys, and Peacemaker from DC Comics. I still honestly don't know how to feel about that. The guest characters that we've had in the past 3 Mortal Kombat games have been like Kratos, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, Alien, Predator, Terminator, RoboCop, Rambo. These icons, these legends of like nerd history. And I just really feel like, striking while the iron is hot. Absolutely. I get that. But Omni-Man and Homelander and Peacemaker just don't feel like they're on the same pedigree as many of the other guest characters. But this is a different approach. Again, striking while the iron is hot. They're trying to get in. They're trying to get in fans of the Peacemaker show. They're trying to get in fans of The Boys. They're trying to get in fans of the Invincible series. And I mean, they got J.K. Simmons coming back and voicing Omni-Man. So they're doing everything they need to do in that regard. But ultimately, like as long as they play interestingly, as long as they're fun, I'll be okay with that. And between Omni-Man and Homelander, you have 2 characters who could potentially essentially just play as Injustice Superman if they really wanted to. And I'm almost expecting one of them, probably Omni-Man, I'm almost expecting one of them to just be effectively a glorified skin for Injustice Superman and just a reason for them to bring his character into the game. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, those characters do nothing for me, to be honest with you. I feel like it's a strange. They went a little too hard in the paint with it. Like they should have like parsed that out. That should have been like, each combat pack gets like one of these kind of like WB property, promotional like don't put them all in the first combat pack.
Well, the thing is, like especially with Mortal Kombat 11. It's probably not going to be all of them because throughout the lifespan of Mortal Kombat 11, we wound up getting 6 guest characters.
Yeah, right.
We got Spawn, Joker, Rambo, Terminator, RoboCop, and Spawn, Joker, and one other one that escapes me right now. Spawn, Joker, Rambo, but there were 6 in total. So I guarantee you this isn't going to be the end of it.
Parse them out.
Well, yeah. I will say one thing that they've been really good about is like versus. In MKX, you could do Alien versus Predator, and you could also do Jason versus Leatherface. And in MK11, you could do RoboCop versus Terminator. So they're pretty good about this whole versus things. I still would have liked to have seen Freddy versus Jason, but that's neither here nor there. But I do know a lot of people have already kind of like been fantasy battling Homelander and Omni-Man. They even made a death battle episode about it. So I do understand where they're coming from, but I don't know. We'll see about the other guest characters. We're still going to be getting years of content with MK1, even after it's released this September. But yeah, I'm very excited. A lot of people were happy that they added in several new female characters. That was one criticism of the first few character announcements, is that the roster was feeling a little too estrogen deprived.
Sure.
But yeah, it's shaping up to look like a really, really cool game. Obviously, I'm super excited for it. But I mean, just like with Nick All-Star Brawl, just like with KOF 13, we got Evo coming up next weekend. I mean, SDCC and like all the times that they've shown off, like Summer Game Fest, SDCC, Evo is if I were going to choose one of the three, Evo is where I would have my biggest blowout showcase. I'm not saying that there's going to be a massive showcase, but I guarantee you there will be something next weekend from MK1. I don't know how much, but there will be at least one big announcement for MK1 next weekend. And I will definitely be watching that in addition to everything else.
Nice. That's next weekend. We won't be able to hit it on the next news roundup, but the following one, I'm sure Eric will come back with plenty of fighting game news.
I'm sure I'll be able to grab a couple of nuggets of information for you guys.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, let's move into this as a little bit of bad/good news. Stick with me here. Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes has been delayed, which is unfortunate. It was delayed until Q2 2024. I've got a quote here from the I've got a quote here from the developer. Quote, "In order to deliver a game that so many fans have supported, we announced a revised release date of Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, with the game now due during calendar year Q2 of 2024. The decision was made in order to ensure the best possible story and to reward the legion of backers with the best game experience possible." End quote. And the reason, when a game gets delayed that a lot of people are looking forward to, this one was a massive success on Kickstarter. It's sort of a Suikoden spiritual successor from a lot of those original devs. A lot of people excited for it. However, we kind of needed this for our fantasy league, to be honest. The Nintendo pals drafted this one during our last fantasy draft, and now they won't get any points for it. So that I'm happy about that, because to be honest, we also had 2 games drop this week that didn't score as well as we thought they would. So I'm not, it's one of those things. Like, I feel bad for the people who were looking forward to it. At the same time, let it cook. And if you're going to take a few points off the board from the Nintendo pals, I'm not going to complain about that either.
Never. But yes, for those people who are looking forward to the game, sorry that we're actually excited about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and we've also got, I would say too, keep your eyes open for Suikoden fans, which I'm sure they're, already aware of, but those remasters are coming out this year too, which we drafted. So hopefully that would be a good twist of fate if those hit and we get, that'd be pretty
great.
Good.
That'd
pretty
be
good.
Amazing.
A little bit of drama in the Fantasy Critic. So wanted to report on that. Next thing, got a little bit of Splatoon news this week. This is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Shy Guy from our community who brought this to my attention in the Discord, in our Splatoon 3 game hub in the Discord. Nintendo sort of quietly announced that a tournament manager function is coming to Splatoon 3 at some point in the future, kind of buried in the game's website. Which is weird, and it's kind of like, it sounds like a fairly big update by the looks of it. I've got the screen cap here from the website. This was reported on by Oatmeal Dome on Twitter, who is a very famous sort of like web data miner and stuff. And it says, Tournament Manager, we're developing a service called Splatoon 3 Tournament Manager to help support the creation of private tournaments using the private battle feature in the Splatoon 3 game. The service will link both the Splatoon 3 game and the Splatnet 3 service together to help players create and manage tournaments on demand. The following features are currently planned, subject to change: tournament bracket creation and round progression support, automatic generation of private battle rooms used for tournament play, automatic reporting of match results. Will release more details when development is complete. So seems pretty cool. Seems like a pretty cool update for people who want to do like private tournaments. I could imagine like us doing a community tournament with the all-in community, and pretty neat functionality here.
Yeah,
So
we can have our own Splatfests.
Yeah, you could, which is something that like should have been in the game this whole time, So I see you in the chat there, Bowser and Fulia. Let's go. So hopefully this is something that we can take advantage of, and the fact that it's going to tie into the phone app is also really cool.
Yeah.
So in theory, somebody like Shy Guy could put together like a community hosted event and say like, hey, all in community, I'm hosting this like tournament. And that's the kind of thing that we can just do. That's really neat. So yeah, we'll see what comes of that. Hopefully soon.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe it'll, if we can do our own Splatfests, maybe it'll keep Nintendo from running back the same Splatfest for a third time.
Yeah. good segue there, Eric. That new Splatfest was also announced. It is happening pretty.
Is it new?
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah. So it is. It is what's most important in life, which to me makes me think of that Conan the Barbarian quote: "What is best in life?"
What is best in life?
Yeah.
To hear the lamentations of my enemies and see my
crush your enemies, see them laying before you. Yeah. That's not what the Splatfest is, though. It's what's most important in life: money versus fame versus love. Want to shout out our friend Cheesy C64 on Twitter. Or X, if you like. Cheesy pointed out, this is now the third time Splatoon has tackled this particular theme. The only difference is they've added in that third option for Splatoon 3. And yeah, we just had a Splatfest. This is like a very rare occurrence of having like two Splatfests really close together. Doesn't usually happen. There's usually like 2-3 months between Splatfests. So...
And I will say, when it comes to running back old Splatfests where you've already done two things, aren't you also kind of undermining the third option that you had to add that you didn't see as good enough to be in the first Splatfest? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, well, maybe it's that, and maybe they just see it as an opportunity to, because now they do have the third prong of that with this game. Yeah. So... for me, I look at
the
this
third
though.
Prawn.
The Splatfest is happening from the 11th to the 13th, and yeah, this is I think like either less than or just more than a month apart from the Ice Cream Splatfest. Very, very close together, unusually so. And Cheesy speculated, and I agree with him, that this is perhaps gearing up for an imminent launch of the Side Order DLC. Which to me makes perfect sense. This is supposed to be coming soon. We haven't seen anything from it. September Direct, you gotta imagine they're gearing up for it. And, to me, like if you're putting these things in close proximity, then it makes sense that you're creating space for your big campaign DLC. So, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. I hope so too. I'm really, really interested in the Side Order. When the Octo expansion came out for Splatoon 2, like it became the best piece of content in that game, frankly. That Octo expansion was amazing. So I'm really interested to see what this Side Order has to deal with. We've already seen like some really interesting things with the world being all white and stuff, almost as if you have to color it back in, a la De Blob or something like that. But I'm really, really interested to see what Side Order has to serve up for us.
Ooh, all about the puns tonight. Let's go.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I'm hoping that this is the case. But either way, what were you? I mean, how are you not Team Love on this one?
Exactly. I mean, it was like the Splatfest is like, do you have a soul or do you not have a soul?
Yeah. Like, could you imagine the people coming, especially like if you're like a big time streamer or something and you're Team Fame? Like, you're kind of a piece of garbage, right?
Like, see, the thing is, like, the internet, and specifically a large portion of people who like to play competitive online games are, let's just say, maybe not the least toxic people on the internet.
Sure.
Maybe like to be contrarian just for the sake of being contrarian. I almost expect Fame to win this Splatfest just because of that. I really do.
I could see, I mean, like, the argument...
I'm Team Love, but I mean...
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the thing about it is there are, like, aromantic ace people or whatever that are out there who couldn't care less, about love. And I completely understand and respect that. So, like money, I could sort of see, but Fame is just, like, it's an odd one, man. Gotta go Team Love. It also, the structure of this means that Team Love is also going to be Team Big Man. So, I mean, so.
But I mean, if they really wanted to make it a hard decision for me, they could have made it love, money, or coffee.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Bowser in the chat says, have you ever experienced love or not? Those are the choices, essentially.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, gotta go with Team Love for this one. But cool. That's, August 11th that kicks off. So hopefully we'll
super excited.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
They have been supporting Splatoon 3 as we knew they would. They have been supporting Splatoon 3 very, very well since release, especially with the PvP, the card game, the tabletop,
Table Turf.
yeah, Table Turf. Thank you. Just that alone was great. You got side order. We've got these new catalogs and new weapons and everything. As a matter of fact, they just released a new patch that tweaked a lot of stuff in the game. I think it's patch 4.1.0 that just launched a couple hours ago. So yeah, they've been supporting this game incredibly, incredibly well. So if you haven't tried it out yet, I do still recommend, like, you can still jump in. It's got an amazing campaign mode. Like I said, the Table Turf, the versus mode is genuinely one of the most fun third player online shooters I've ever played. It's an absolute blast. So, still time to jump into Splatoon 3.
Yeah. Fulia in the chat says hashtag team love. Let's go, Fulia. Bowser says, let's get ready to rage again. I should say, Bowser and I played quite a bit of the last Splatfest together. My wife and I played a bunch of it. Bowser jumped in.
Team Mint Chocolate, right?
Yeah, we were all team Mint Chocolate. Shy Guy came in at a certain point too. And
nice.
I just get, like, Splatoon makes me more mad than any other video game. And like we were getting hosed on Splatoon quite a lot. So the rage was real between Bowser and I. So
that can happen. That can happen.
Yeah.
Occasionally you need to step away and just take a few deep breaths. Go get you some mint chocolate or something.
Yeah, just calm down.
Deep breaths. Woosah.
Have a little ice cream. Yeah. But Eric, you know what I'm not mad about?
What are you not mad about?
That the Oracle games have finally been added to the Game Boy NSO app this week. Oh.
Yes, NSO Wednesday came and went with a lot of fanfare, actually, this past week. Yes, as Seth just mentioned, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, the classic Game Boy Color Legend of Zelda titles are now in tandem available to play on, of course, the Game Boy NSO app, which is available on the base level NSO subscription. So you don't need to have the expansion pack. If you just have your base level Nintendo Switch Online expansion, you now have access to these two classic Zelda top-down games. A lot of people have already said this, but a lot of the handheld Zelda focus, especially from the early years, gets put on Zelda's Link's Adventure. But do not sleep on these. These are really, really cool games, and crucially, unlike a lot of the dual releases that were happening around the turn of the 2000s, like Pokemon Red and Blue and the Mega Man Battle Network games that became dual releases, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons are two significantly different titles. They're two games.
Yeah, they're different games. That's the thing that I really wanted to issue as kind of a PSA here. Is a lot of people, I think it was Adam, who was like, yeah, I've never played these before. Which one should I play? And I'm like, you should play them both. They are different games. They have different stories, different dungeons. When you complete one, you get a special password that you carry over into the other one to access the linked game content, which also has, you go through the other story and you get a separate, like, ending and final boss.
Ending, yeah.
Like the true ending. And the final boss is super cool in the linked game as well. So like they are two very different games. Now, the sort of vibe of both of them, the design ethos or whatever of them, is Seasons is supposed to be more action oriented and Ages is supposed to be more puzzle oriented.
Yes.
With the dungeons. So if you are just going to play one, maybe you can use that to sort of gauge what is more your style. But I do recommend playing them both. They're also not that long. These handheld Zelda games are 10 hours probably.
Yeah, they were meant to be played in tandem.
Yeah, they were. You're meant to play them both, so you should play them both, and you have access to both of them, and you can still do the linked game and all that stuff. So like you should, and again, it's not like a huge time commitment. The games are great, and I'm really happy to have these here. I'm glad people are finally getting to experience these for the first time, because even when I was a kid, like when those games came out, even I was like, I thought that those were like the same game, like Pokemon, like this is the blue version, this is the red version, and it wasn't until later that I learned that they weren't. So yeah, good games. Play those games.
Indeed.
Like them a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of play those games, Eric, we got a pretty good week for notable releases here, my friend.
Pretty stacked, yeah, absolutely. We got a couple notable releases that came out. As a matter of fact, one big release that just came out today.
Disney Illusion Island. I put a video up on the YouTube channel.
Yes, you did.
Playing it. It's real good. I like it a lot. We are going to do a full review of it later
Yes, we
on
are.
the main show. Probably in like a week or two. I don't know when it's going to drop, but we are going to do that. It's a Nintendo Switch exclusive, this game, which a lot of people might not realize. This is not on any other platforms. This is a big get for Nintendo, and I like it quite a lot. It's a good game.
Yeah, so definitely check out the YouTube channel for the video on that. And actually, speaking of the YouTube channel and videos that we created on games that have come out this week, that's not the only one. Seth also did one for this new Super Intern story, didn't you, my friend?
Yep, we got Super Intern Story. Big thanks to Blue Noise Games who gave us the code for that. I played that one during Steam Next Fest like a year and a half ago. They remembered us. They sent us a DM, and I was happy to play the final version. It's really cool, funny, kind of like management sim game where you like are playing as the like bureaucracy of being like a video game bad guy. Like you're having to set up like rooms for heroes to come in and conquer and stuff, and it's really cool. Check out the video. We get into a little more detail on this on tomorrow's episode of All In, a Nintendo podcast if you want to hear me talk about it a little bit more in detail. But if you want to see the game for yourself, there is a video on the channel, so check it out.
Yes. And Seth, I think I made a couple videos too.
Yeah, you did. You
Oh
did
no,
for sure.
I did.
You
I did actually make a video on. I did a video on Chocobo GP, considering how vastly the game has changed with its brand new retail release. Go ahead and check that out on the YouTube channel. But speaking of games that released this week for videos that we've done, I did one on the newly released Patrick's Parabox that just came out, is available now on the Nintendo Switch, and you guys go buy it. Oh my god!
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's cool.
Like, oh my god!
It's a cool game. Eric's already said it's like maybe his favorite puzzle game ever.
Like,
and,
it's very close to
yeah.
being my favorite puzzle game of all time. It is amazing. It is so good. In the simplest terms, you play as a box, pushing other box around into their designated areas. Then you go to your designated area and you have beaten the level. But the big gameplay gimmick is the literally paradoxical nature of moving these boxes around, because you can push boxes into other boxes, through other boxes, and literally through themselves. It's like, even watching it in practice, even playing the game in practice, it snaps my mind in half. So if you're just trying to imagine it from what I'm telling you, don't even attempt to. Just bring up a trailer of Patrick's Parabox and then go buy it. It's available, like
watch
I said,
Eric's
right
video.
now. Yeah, watch the watch my video.
Yeah.
Honestly, as nuts as my video gets, especially towards the end, like, that's tip of the iceberg. That game gets nuts, and it is so cool. I'm not like oh my god, the next puzzle game is coming out, I have to play it. Like, I don't froth the mouth for the puzzle genre, but this is one I've had on my radar for a long time. I had incredibly high hopes going into this game, and it has already met every expectation I've had. It is so good, you guys. So good.
Nice. Yeah, check out Eric's video. Thanks to the publisher for providing us the code for that as well.
Thank you, Draknek and friends.
Thank you guys for that. And Eric talks
And
about
thank you,
it
Patrick
on
Trainer, for making the game.
Yeah, and Patrick Trainers, we interviewed Patrick on the show
Yes, we did.
earlier this year. And yeah, Eric's got more thoughts on the game in tomorrow's episode of All In, a Nintendo podcast as well. But that is not it, Eric. We've also got Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons that just came out, which I know you've been looking forward to.
I have indeed. I'm a big fan of beat 'em ups. We have quite a few really good ones on the Nintendo Switch. Of course, we've got Streets of Rage 4 and TMNT Shredder's Revenge, and of course, a little game called Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. So this is another one kind of in that same Neo beat 'em up genre, and I've very much been looking forward to it. I plan on making a video for that this weekend, so
Nice.
be on the lookout for that gameplay video. So yes, super excited. Another old franchise coming back. Another old franchise coming back. I'm sure if you are a Double Dragon fan, you have also seen the finally officially announced Double Dragon collection. So looking forward to that. I think it has Double Dragon 1, 2, 3, 4, Super Double Dragon, and one other game. But we've got that officially announced now. So yeah, if you're a Double Dragon fan, 2023 is going to be a pretty good year.
Eating well, eating well. Speaking of beat 'em ups, there's also Pixel Junk Scrappers Deluxe, which is another entry in the Pixel Junk franchise, which is this long running indie franchise. This entry is it's a beat 'em up. It's like a roguelike beat 'em up, set in like a post apocalypse kind of thing. I'd never even heard of it before, but it came out this week. Pixel Junk Scrappers Deluxe. So
you know, as much as you and I both love indie games, and I do adore me some indie games, I've actually never played one of the Pixel Junk games.
Oh wow, I've played a few of them. Yeah, I played a couple different ones. I played the Pixel Junk Monsters, Pixel Junk. Is it just called Pixel Junk Shooter?
Yes.
Yeah, I've played that. I think they've had a couple of those. Yeah, I've played a few of these, and they're usually pretty good. And again, this is a pretty popular indie game franchise at this point. So we have that. This Way Madness Lies came out this week, which I really desperately want to play. I want to play it so bad. This has been on my radar.
I think I'm gonna wait for my limited run copy, but I also want to play it. It's from Zeboid Games, who also did Cthulhu Saves Christmas, which we did an indie showcase on. I think it was last Christmas or the Christmas before. But they make these really, really fun, really endearing JRPGs that don't take 50 billion hours to complete. But this one, I'll let Seth tell you about it, because to say that it's quirky, I think is underselling it just a little bit.
The thing about Zeboid's games is like, they're interesting, they're funny. The Cthulhu series is like it's done up more for comedy and stuff.
Oh yes.
And they usually have like a lot of like kind of weird, undertones. Cosmic Star Heroine is also excellent, but that's kind of more of like a slightly more serious, take. But This Way Madness Lies is a JRPG, classic style turn-based JRPG, very much like Shining Force, kind of style. The battle system just straight up looks like Shining Force.
That's true.
And but it is a magical girl anime kind of vibe, set in the world of Shakespeare. So it's Shakespeare and magical girls in a JRPG, and I really want. It's only $10 also, so I've gotta play it. It's on the list. Whenever there's time, it is on the list.
It's just like, I still to this day, like Shakespeare and magical girls in a JRPG.
Sold.
Yeah,
Sold.
Sure. Why not? Why not, we say. There's also, we talk about, adorable little girls. There's also this really interesting indie 3D platformer that came out this week called Koa and the five Pirates of Mara.
Yeah.
So that looked pretty interesting. I watched the trailer for it, and it looks like kind of a lot of the standard B-grade platformers that we were used to coming out around the GameCube era. It looks interesting. Kind of reminds me of Super Lucky's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of stuff like KO the Kangaroo, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. So this might be one that I have to check out.
Yeah, I want to check it out too. This is they're creating this little like Mara universe with Summer and Mara and stuff.
Mara. Yep.
And so they're creating this kind of like little Mara verse.
Mara verse.
It's a indie studio based out of, I think, Spain. So I want to check it out. Also, quick shout outs to the Entropy Center. Did you see anything? Have you looked into this?
I'm vaguely aware that it came out, and I saw the publishers talk about it just a little bit, but just with everything else going on this week, I haven't really been able to do much beyond say, oh, that looks like a game.
Yeah. Hey, Jack Owen in the chat. I see you, Jack Owen. The Entropy Center is an interesting looking like first person puzzle game, kind of Portal vibes a little bit.
Okay.
You have a gun that can rewind time. So it looks cool. This was a like shadow drop. Like they didn't even say like, hey.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was like, didn't look familiar.
Yeah, it's been out on other platforms for quite some time. I learned about it actually at Extra Life last year. Fuya in the chat says I still need to play the Entropy Center. Yeah, Extra Life last year. Kevin Ainsworth from Save the Game Media. Shout outs to
Okay.
Kevin. He played it on Extra Life stream last year, and it looked great. And he loves he's like, this game is awesome. And they just made a Switch version, dropped it unceremoniously, and it's half off, like during the launch window. So I really want to check it out.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I only got to look at some of the media for it very briefly, but it looked like a decent spooky month game.
I don't think it's got spooky vibes. I don't know. Could be wrong. Yeah, Felice says that's where I got the game too. Yeah. Yeah, I think
Nice.
Kevin like gave away a copy or something, but I don't think it's supposed to. Yeah. I don't know if it's supposed to have spooky vibes. I think it's supposed to be kind of like, kind of heady sci-fi, but with like a comedy, kind of comedic, bent to it. So I think that's kind of what it's going for. You have the gun like talks, and for example, right in the trailer, the gun has like an acronym. I don't remember exactly what it is, like personal something, but it ends up being PEE. So that's what you got. Yeah, chuckle, teehee. Yeah, that's the vibe they're going for here. Yeah,
fair enough. But okay, so yeah, that game. I'll have to check that out then. I'll have to check that out. That's not one that I'm super familiar with.
Half off. It's like $12.50 or something. I think I'm gonna probably pick it up for
Nice.
my wife. My wife likes games like this, so
nice.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if she can handle the P.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But that's what we got. That's the notable releases for this week.
And of course, like the aforementioned Oracle games, those are also on the Game Boy NSO now. So, like I didn't, don't sleep on those. Those very good games. But yeah, let us know what you guys are playing this weekend. Are you playing Disney Illusion Island? Are you playing Patrick's Parabox? You should. Are you playing Double Dragon? Let us know what you guys are up to this fine pre-Evo weekend. Reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter at All In Podcast. Make sure to like and follow our YouTube channel here at All In Podcast, where again, we post a ton of videos. We post a ton of content. We do these weekly news roundups every Friday at 4 Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. In addition to that, we have an amazing Discord community you need to check out. We're always doing something. We're always creating new content, and especially for our patrons.
That's right. Patreon.com/allinpodcast. Head over there, see which tier works for you. We got a lot of friends and supporters over there supporting us there right now. Hey, Fuya says she's going to be checking out Disney Illusion Island. Let's go, Fuya. Also, Fuya's birthday. Shoutouts to Fuya. Yeah, happy birthday, Fuya. It might actually be Fuya's going to be streaming on her channel as well. I think it's twitch.tv/foolishfuji, if I'm not mistaken. So shouts to Fuya doing a birthday stream. Got all kinds of birthdays going on right now.
Today?
So I think it's happening because she's in Australia. So I don't know how that shakes out time zone wise. You can let me know in the chat, Fuya. So yeah, hang out with Fuya for Fuya's birthday. Happy birthday, Fuya.
Happy birthday to
Yeah. So shout outs to Fuya, man. But anyways, yeah, patreon.com/allinpodcast, 7-day free trial to the Golden Banana tier. Check it out. If you're listening on the audio feeds, drop us some words, leave us a 5-star review. That's greatly appreciated as well. And of course, the main show drops tomorrow, All In, a Nintendo podcast. Every Saturday, you can catch us over there. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you guys so much for everybody who has become a patron, all you absolute legends, for everybody who has dropped words on whatever podcast or video service you happen to follow us on, and for everybody who has just shared our content somewhere across this vast internet of ours. To all of you, each and every one of you, we would like to say namaste.
Namaste. Fulia says Sunday my time is my
Sunday
birthday.
Her time.
So that's going to be Saturday. That's like tomorrow at some point our time is Fulia's birthday. And like I said, Fulia, twitch.tv/foolishfuji. Fulia's going to be streaming for her birthday. So send some love Fulia's way for Fulia's birthday. Happy birthday, Fulia. Happy birthday, Sean Capri. Birthdays all around. Happy birthday, everybody.
A couple big ones coming up too.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. Namaste, everybody. Again, All in a Nintendo podcast dropping tomorrow on your feeds. Links to that are always in the video description. Check out the main show dropping. We've got the
It's
top
gonna
five.
be good.
It's a good episode. We got the top 5 GameCube, the franchises that died on the GameCube, franchises that we haven't seen since the Nintendo GameCube. We've also got a really
Not
interesting.
to sound clickbaity, but some of those will blow your mind.
Yeah, for sure. We've got an interesting discussion as well on sort of remakes and remasters and if they are actually a bit of a problem for Nintendo and gaming culture at large. And we've also got a great interview from Arzette with the sort of lead designer, Seth Fulkerson, and the lead producer, Audie Surlee. So really great episode going up tomorrow, hitting your podcast feeds. So tune into that. Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Love you very much. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend, guys. Love you.